evening, hello and welcome. You're watching The Right Stand here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Umesh Kohle was murdered in cold blood in Amravati in Maharashtra in June this year. 4 days ago, the National Investigating Agency filed its charge sheet in the case, an exhaustive 3,000-page charge sheet, parts of which have been accessed by CNN News 18. The NIA has listed the accused links to Tablighi Jamaat, a radical Islamist organization. This was not a common crime, not just a murder. It was a terrorist act with pre-planning, said the NIA on record. The motive was most definitely to instill a sense of fear in the minds of people of Amravati, and the murder was carried out by radicalized Muslim youth. I am not saying that. The NIA charge sheet states those as facts. Now, if you recollect, Kanhaiya Lal was murdered in a similar fashion a week after Umesh Kohle in neighbouring Rajasthan. Was that because the then state government in Maharashtra tried to suppress the facts initially? Or was it because the clear and present danger that radicalization poses to India was ignored? Or was it merely a coincidence? Well, before we open that up, sample this.
ऐसी जो भी प्रवृत्ति है जो ये सब चीज़ों को बढ़ावा दे रही है, इन सबको कहीं पर भी रोक लगने की ज़रूरत है।
Now, here's why the BJP and many are accusing the predecessors of Maharashtra, which is the Maha Vikas Aghadi government, of suppression. There are many things that do not add up, and let me take you through a few of them, of why the state government, the former state government in Maharashtra, faces those allegations. Here's one of them. The cops registered a murder case. They treated it as common crime. They did not go into the depth of the killing, even though it was a gruesome one at that. Then they listed robbery as a motive for murder, even though it was an ISIS-style killing, and there were complaints that were being registered of threats that were being received by Umesh Kohle and many others. Another reason why the Maha Vikas Aghadi, the former government in Maharashtra, is in the dock is because police drew the link to the Udaipur murder only 12 days later. Could the Udaipur murder of Kanhaiya Lal be averted if there was an alarm sounded at the right time? Many suggest perhaps yes. There was no report that was sent to the centre despite a clear directive. Remember, the NIA took over only after several members of parliament raised the issue with the centre. Now, no security was given to those who were receiving these threat calls because Umesh Kohle was not the only one. Yes, he was murdered in cold blood. Now, the NIA says by the Tablighi Jamaat linked accused, but there were several others who got these kind of threat calls. What did the police do about that? Well, it is for the Maha Vikas Aghadi to answer that, but the NIA has categorically stated that this was a criminal conspiracy by religiously radicalized Muslim youth, and they wanted to strike terror in the minds of people in Amravati. But we still have many who call this nothing but profiling. A government that is accused of being majoritarian, using its agencies to wrongly go after one particular religion. Well, in this particular instance, I want to draw the attention of all those critics and of our viewers to some facts. Here's where it stands as far as Tablighi Jamaat and its global presence is concerned. There are several Islamic nations, several nations where the Muslim population is at maximum, over 60 to 70%. At least 5 of those nations, including Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, all of them have banned Tablighi Jamaat. Their gateways to terror is what these countries said when they banned them. So does the argument then stay valid of this being profiling against one particular community? We'll discuss that when we open this up for our guests. But the big question that we ask here on CNN News 18 on The Right Stand is that is this a denial of the radicalization threat in this country that is clear and present? Before I open this up to our guests, I have Navneet Rana who joins us live. She is the Amravati Member of Parliament. She has been attending the Parliament session here in the national capital. And Navneet Rana, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Now, you are an MP from Amravati. You've met Umesh Kohle's family as well after the murder. You must have first-hand seen what kind of impact that had. The NIA in its charge sheet has gone on to say that this is not a commonplace crime. It was a terror act. It was a concerted effort. Do you agree? Do you think that this is what you've been saying all along?
Yes, I agree. Because of that only, madam, when it started and that incident happened, after that the Udaipur incident with the tailor happened. And once that Udaipur incident took place and everybody came to know what was the intention being murdered, this person murdered, and this crime happened in Udaipur. And once this all came into all the whole India came to knew that time what happened exactly. And after that, when I came to know about this Kolhe murder, then I spoke to his family, I spoke to his elder brother. When this all thing was in one direction, they were moving into one direction because Mahavikas Aghadi in Maharashtra, they were making this crime into another direction. They wanted this, whatever incident happened, it has to be shown and create in front of people that it is a robbery incident, and because of that robbery intention, this crime happened in Amravati. But yes, when I spoke to his family, when I spoke to his brother and family, then I came to know that no other rivals for this person, no other enemy for Kolhe, and what exact happened. And when I spoke to them and they told me that because of few messages he has viral in support of Nupur Sharma, because of this is happened. And then when I raised this question in the parliament, and I have given a letter to the Home Minister, and then I have requested that I don't believe the Mahavikas Aghadi how these people are working in Maharashtra, because madam, in that period of time, Maharashtra has faced raids. If you see Amravati, we had a Muslim Hindu raids in Amravati and other cities also in Maharashtra. And seeing all that things, I could not even believe for 1% on them. So because of that, we demanded to the central agency that they should investigate on this. Once this agency has started, 3 days, so it was whole in a very different this thing. This is a robbery case.
Right.
He was a medical person and he used to bring money in his pocket. They used to have lots of money because of this crime and happened. And when we raised seriously, we wanted that this family should get justice, man. We tried for that, and then I raised this in the parliament, and then the center agency, they started the investigation. And after the investigation started, madam, one by one, every single day we got the accused. All the crime, who has actually given a crime, who has done crime, they all got arrested. And one by one, this all information came out, how they got trapped, how they did this. Because between that, one more news to us, it came in Amravati, that these people were calling some other names who were supporting Nupur Sharma at that period. They called them and literally they have threatened them that if you support anybody like this, if you forward your message to anybody else, then this is going to happen with you also like this. So then we took it very serious, because if it is happened in Udaipur and first in Amravati and then Udaipur, if it is happened more with some other people, then these people are getting more encouraged.
Sure.
So we took very serious and we raised, and the NIA, I think they have done fantastic job. What we actually believed on them, they came out with the finally conclusion with the charge sheet. What they have put on today, it is proven that what we spoke, it has become right. Yes.
Right, and there are several discrepancies in the claims that the police made back then and the NIA charge sheet that has now been filed, including what the motive of the murder was. And like you said, the state government looked like they were steering the probe in one direction. Do you think the cops were also under political pressure?
Yes, that is what I am saying. Political pressure is worked so high in Maharashtra that period. 2.5 years Mahavikas Aghadi under the government of Uddhav Thackeray ji. Everything happened in that way only. Whatever the police have worked, it is, see, the Maharashtra police, everybody appreciate them. We also respect them. But the pressure of political at that moment, that 2.5 years, it was unbelievable, and it was extreme the other level. Because riots never happened in my district, it happened for the first time. And this kind of incident took place only at the first time, and after happening this incident, still they wanted this crime to be moved to other line. This is a robbery incident happened in Amravati. So yes, it is very obvious matter. Without any political support, none of this commissioner of police or any other department who works into that direction. What was truth and what they were planning to prove, it was totally opposite. So I think now the central agency, what we requested them, they have given the justice and to the family and to Amravati people and to who believe for freedom of speech in India. They have proven that they are behind, their support are there with them.
Right. But unfortunately, Ms. Rana, there seem to be many people who are saying that this is nothing but profiling of one particular country, that you have a BJP government at the center which is accused of being majoritarian, and that is why they're using their agencies, in this case the NIA, to target one particular community. What do you have to say to that kind of criticism?
See, I'll tell only one thing, madam. No religion should come in between this. None of the Hindus are gone to kill somebody. If you see the Udaipur incident and Amravati incident, this is done by them, madam. Some intelligences, some international agencies are working and supporting them as a financially and brainwashing them and asking them to do this crime where they live, where they stay. And whoever is saying this government or BJP government, see, I am an independent person. I believe we should work for people, whether it is any religion, any caste or any mother tongue they're talking be. But for me, justice should be there for everybody. The government should work into that level only. But I don't think the way the opposition, opposition have no other work, madam. They have only one line. They just need to target the center government. They need to target wherever the BJP government is there in the states. For me, my importance, our people should get justice. And whatever people are saying, whatever the opposition are saying, कि ये सिर्फ एक जनों को target कर रहे हैं, nobody is targeting anybody. If you see this both incidents, madam, the way they have killed these people with the knife, how many pieces, how many stamping they have done with the chakus. So I ask them like this. Show me one incident in India where our people have went and killed these people. Not even single incident happened because of freedom of speech or because of any messages forwarded if they have done. So our people went and killed them. No, none of the, not even single one case has been registered against us. So for me, it is that important. If somebody is doing crime like that, they should be punished. And I to request this government, they should be punished like this. Ki anybody who think of crime, they should be scared in their dream also. We don't have to think all this about this also.
Sure. So you're saying that strictest punishment should come to the fore and the NIA is working in the right direction. But because you're calling for strict probe and ensuring that a message is sent, do you think a nationwide investigation against the Tablighi Jamaat or perhaps even a step in the direction of a ban is something that is in the offing? Because several countries in the world have banned Tablighi Jamaat. Would you as a member of parliament raise your voice with the centre?
See, I am always against who work against to my country. If that Jamaat is against who lives in India, if they are against of this people of India, so definitely whenever my support needed, I will be there standing against them. Because the way, whatever knowledge I have gotten about this Jamaat, they are working, they are making these people brainwashed, they are supplying, they are giving, they are helping by money or their group or they have targeted some areas. So I think the government of India should investigate, and if some agents are there, groups are there who are working like this, they should be get treated as a criminal and they should be punished. So I will be always there whenever it is needed ki this Jamaat should be treated as a criminal. So I will raise my voice in the parliament.
Sure. And we would of course follow up on that with you. But for the moment, thank you Navneet Rana. Thank you for speaking with us here on CNN News 18 and sharing your view. Now it is an exhaustive charge sheet that was filed by the NIA. It's over 3,000 pages and we here on CNN News 18 are decoding it point by point for you. Now there are some more details that have now emerged from this particular charge sheet. One of the things that has now cropped up is a Dawood Ibrahim link. The accused received a propaganda video as part of the chats that they were on, as part of the WhatsApp groups that were on. As one of those videos, there's an image of Dawood Ibrahim, is what the charge sheet goes on to say. This is not us saying it, it's all part of the charge sheet that has now been submitted in court. The video had text giving ultimatum to Nupur Sharma, the now suspended BJP leader. This is the latest information that is now trickling in. The NIA, in its charge sheet, has also claimed that there are 3 more persons who were threatened by the very same accused. Remember, several others have also raised, including Navneet Rana, saying that several other people in the Amravati region had received similar threat calls. The police had claimed that 2 of the 3 persons didn't feel threatened. The NIA has countered that allegation and countered the claims that the police has made as far as its charge sheet goes. And which is why we here ask on the right stand, what exactly was the motive behind the initial suppression of facts, or was it just a mere coincidence? Is the radicalization threat now clear and present, and why are apologists still in denial? That's the debate here on the right stand. Tausif Ahmed Khan, advocate, joins us on this broadcast, leader of the Shiv Sena. CS Jha also with me. Former IPS officer Nirmal Kaur joins us as well, and RSS researcher and author Ratan Sharda also with me on this broadcast. But I'd like to begin with Mr. Jha. And Mr. Jha, some very pertinent, grave questions, grave allegations have been raised against the former government, the Mahavikas Aghadi government. Many suggest that in the first 3 or 4 days, had the alacrity been shown by the police, by the state government, perhaps the Kanhaiya Lal murder of Udaipur could have been averted because a larger alarm could have been sounded.
First, you have to see that in the month which the incidents happened, this government was not able to work. There were tussles between the two groups, and there were chances of taking over the government. Nobody was able to work, first thing. Second thing is that it is very clear now, the act of terrorism does not involve any community. It's a crime against the humanity.
Sure.
So if the charge sheet has been filed rightly or wrongly, the charge sheet has been filed, and that requires the court to go into the trial and decide upon the issue. So we don't in a manner comment on the basis of the law going on its own course. And thirdly, if you see the statement given by Navneet Rana on this incident, whether she made any allegations at that moment against our government, there was no such allegation. The allegation was made against the commissioner of the Amravati.
Sure.
The commissioner was not able to discharge his duty, and therefore the matter was transferred to NIA.
But the allegation
so
also was that the commissioner of police was working at the behest of the political masters, so-called political masters. That's the allegation.
No. These allegations have to be substantiated. Either these allegations have been substantiated in the charge sheet? No. There is no allegation which has been substantiated against the government. There was no direction from the government because the government was also not working at that moment. It was having some kind of issue between the parties and between themselves. And so in together, if you see that these allegations are afterthought and nothing else.
You were saying that the government was not able to work then because there was a power tussle that was going on. So are you saying that perhaps this wasn't exactly top of agenda for the government? The government did falter somewhere. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. We were not allowed to work. If the government was not allowed to work for last 15-20 days, if you see from the month of June 15 till July 2nd, whether this government was able to work. It was not able to work in any circumstances. There was a power tussle going on. There was issues going on between the parties. So, how you see that this investigation was not justified or carried on a right way?
Sure. And Nirmal Kaur, I want to get you in because you've been a former IPS officer, and there are questions that are being raised over the conduct of the Commissioner of Police and whether or not the state government did have a role in that. Can those two be separated?
I think the two could well be related, very well related, because this is an eyewash to register such a crime as an attempted robbery or a failed robbery or to commit such a heinous murder. And this was just to cover up the crime, which was a heinous crime and which had wide implications for the security of the country. And it was a terrorist. It was done with a view to spread terror. And and that part was totally missing in the FIR. When they register an FIR, it is made out to be a plain and simple crime of robbery, in which the person got killed. So that motive is very funny. That motive has been just cooked up to cover up such a big, huge crime which affects the internal security of the country. So in a way it is good, that the police definitely did not register it or investigate it in a very professional manner. Maybe hence that's why the NIA came in and took over the investigation, and they just gathered all the evidence and connected all the links, and they have now they have made out in their charge sheet that how the crime was played out. By the
but was precious time lost in those couple of days before the NIA took over, because we had a murder that had took place just a few days after this particular murder? Do you think that delay is perhaps what cost Kanhaiya Lal his life? Because perhaps a larger nationwide alarm could have been raised if this was treated the way the NIA is treating this case now.
Definitely. If you immediately, prevention is the best thing. If you had immediately reacted, perhaps the whole nation would have, all the miscreant elements and the terrorist elements in the country, they would have their hackles up, and they would think that twice about, committing another murder which happened in Rajasthan. So, if they had taken care of this murder, if they had promptly investigated it, registered it, and investigated in a proper manner for what it was, not to give it a robbery color and to make it out to an ordinary crime, then I'm sure the preventive effect would have been pan-India, and nothing, the chances are that not many people would have dared to commit such a crime after that.
And Tausif Ahmed Khan, this is about the nation's internal security, as Nirmal Kaur was also pointing out. But yet we have certain people who come out and say that you're trying to paint one particular community, one particular religion in a certain light. But that's not the case, because the Tablighi Jamaat has been banned in several Islamic nations in the world, and they've been accused of role in terror cases, not just here in this country, but in other countries as well. So are we doing a disservice to the security apparatus of this country when such kind of profiling comments or allegations are made?
You see, we have to see the actions of the investigative agencies. Absolutely no one will doubt that when there is a matter of internal security of our country, there should be no compromise. And wherever there are incidents of radicalization, recorded incidents and evidences are there, then it should be thoroughly proved by an agency which is fit for this, and NIA is a fit case. For example, now we are talking about the selective approach. Let us take an example. Gauri Lankesh murder is an act of terrorism. Was it taken up by NIA? No. Gauri Lankesh murder, in the charge sheet that was filed by the SIT, the main accused, the confessional statement and all that shows how he has been inspired by the activities of Bajrang Dal and Sri Ram Sene, and how this outfit based in Goa, Sanatan Sanstha, is responsible for this. And this links the murder of not only Gauri Lankesh but MM Kalburgi, Govind Pansari, Narendra Dabhokar. And what is the motive? These people are being radicalized, that these journalists cannot have an independent view, cannot have any opposite view, an alternate view. They tag them as anti-Hindu, and then they start panic in the society, calling that Hindu khatre mein. All this, this is also in a way radicalizing the youth of the country, which is ultimately going to affect us. It is going to be harmful to the nation's internal security.
Sure. So you're saying radicalization works both ways, but unfortunately only Islamist radicalization is what is spoken of. Ratan Sharda, that's the allegation, and that's why it is profiling. The radicalization works in multiple ways. But why not talk about all of them? The NIA only swoops in when we see the accused is from the minority community.
I pity this equivalence, Poonam, because when Kalburgi etc. were killed, there was opposition party in the state government. Did they reach out to NIA? No, they established an SIT, and case was forwarded and case was investigated. So let us not make one particular exception to rule out thousands of terror acts of people who are influenced by the Islamist radical ideology. Now, the biggest issue is that why did the government, Mr. Jha made a very tame excuse of not in being control of the office. They were in control of the office enough to have a media head in jail, to have the officers in jail, to have police officers who were actually suspended because of their bad behavior as a top police cops, and they are in jail today. They have a minister who is in jail today. And this same secular lobby created Hindu terror bogie from 2007-8 onwards. They called 2611's RS ki sajish. So this equivalence to create somehow a parallel narrative that it is only not case of one particular community I am not blaming the community, I am blaming the leaders who actually create this atmosphere, including seculars. Now let us talk of Tablighi Jamaat. Since it doesn't believe in NIA, Saudi Arabia and many others banned, you understand, Pakistani Talibanis and Afghani Taliban radicals fueled Kazakhstan riots. This is set in June 2022 newspaper report. South Africa, the Democratic Forum tells us that all the European countries are investigating Tablighi Jamaat, and they claim that they have hand in nearly every terror act. The Dr. Farzan Zahid, a Pakistani counter-terror person, research says in France believes 80% of terrorists have Tablighi Jamaat, connections. Former DG ISI, Lieutenant General Javed Nasir in Pakistan, belonged to the Tablighi Jamaat. And who know what kind of terror creates? 1996 attempt on coup during Benazir Bhutto time was influenced by Tablighi Jamaat. And they have their background comes from Deoband ideology on which you don't want to speak on. During 1980s, Tablighi Jamaat known as a recruitment agency for innocent people whom they take to mosque and other agencies take over, networking them, putting them into difficulty. And Tariq Parvez, former DG of National Counter-Terrorism, himself has said it from Pakistan. So let us understand these tentacles are worldwide. They are the people who provide the right front for recruitment, and then the radical elements, larger radical elements take over. Should we close our eyes to that? Not a single evidence I've quoted comes from in NIA. This comes from agencies outside India. So will we keep our eyes closed? We'll keep on blaming some RSS, some Sanatan Sasta, etc. When world over we are seeing what is happening right from Nigeria to Europe to America to UK, everywhere. We will not speak about that just because it is supposed to be Islamophobia. So let us not try to hide these terror roots behind the so-called secular wall. Let it be open. Any person caught with any terror activity, whether Sanatan, whether 90% terror or 99% terror of these Islamist radicals, under the garb of being a tolerant nation which allows even terror as a part of its narrative.
Absolutely. And like I said right at the beginning, Tausif Ahmed Khan, this is not about targeting of a religion or about any one particular religion at all. It is about the radicalization that happens, and which is why we have the Tablighi Jamaat being banned by several Muslim majority countries as well. So then can we deny that the Tablighi Jamaat does pose a threat, or at least that deserves an investigation?
See, whatever the gentleman just before me said proves my point, and which is dismissing the hardcore reality that radicalization is happening everywhere, irrespective of religion. I, for an example, gave you a
1%
no, please do not interrupt me. Please do not. I did not interrupt.
1%
I
to
just gave you
99%,
an
right?
example. No, he's interrupting
Yes,
me.
so
please.
1%.
Ratan Sharda, let Tausif Ahmed Khan finish. I will come back to you.
Don't interrupt me. Now, I cited an example where I talked about Gauri Lankesh, and charge sheet has been filed in this matter, and charge sheet clearly said that Gauri Lankesh was killed. The motive there was to threaten alternate view. She was killed because the murderer thought that she is anti-Hindu. That Hinduism is under attack. That Hindus khatre mein. This is the philosophy. This is the radicalization I am talking about. That radicalization is happening on the other side as well. And for God's sake, I am not defending here the Tablighi Jamaat. I am simply saying that when we talk about selective approach against radicalization, we as a nation, we as a good citizen, it is our duty to show the mirror to the government that please be fair, please look at all the angles, please do not be religion blind to radicalization, because it will ultimately affect the youth of the country and the progress of our country.
Sure, but you do agree that there are dangers of organizations, of groups like the Tablighi Jamaat penetrating into minds of young people into doing things that sure. But if that is something that the government agrees on, then you agree that on the other side of the spectrum also there is a problem.
Absolutely, government. Here you have evidences against them. There are evidences, there are charge sheet, and very detailed charge sheet also running into several hundred pages. Why is government not taking cognizance of this and acting against them? Is it because it suits their political agenda and their politics of divisiveness? Then that's the danger that we have with this government. If they keep a selective approach, it is only harming the country in the future.
Yes. Ratan Sharda, you wanted to make a point. CSJ, I will come to you. But Ratan Sharda, the allegation is that there is selective action that is being taken by this particular government. If you accept that Hindu terror is in fact a credible thing, then we'll also accept that there is something called Islamist terror or Islamist radicalization.
I cannot accept Hindu terror because 99.999% there has been no counter attack by any Hindu community and any of the other people who attacked them.
In denial.
Point one. Point two, just a moment. Point two, what happened in Karnataka, SIT state government, who has to file the case? It was Congress government, JDS government. Did anybody support those people? Like you are supporting indirectly these terror elements. Did any Hindu leader, any Hindu organization support those people? No. Did they come and try to, defend them? What they did? No. Did they quote any book to support the terror act? No. But here in this case, they are quoting a religion, they are quoting a book, and they are being supported by a wide network across the globe for this kind of activity for which they are famous all over the world. So trying to equate that 0.0011% case with thousands of worldwide cases, you are trying to create an equivalence which is not acceptable. Because your defense is that there is some other side also. Did anybody defend them? Everybody who has been caught has been punished. So do you believe that 0.001% should be equated with 99.999% of terror acts? So world is blind to this. So world will blame RSS for Mopla riots. They will blame Nigeria for RSS. They blame Belgium, France, everybody for RSS. What kind of logic is this, my dear friend? You are trying to create Islamophobia in the name of Islamophobia. So this is your problem.
This is
your problem. You close your eyes. You close your eyes and you try to equate one particular case with thousands of cases. Did any Hindu did that? No. Did anybody defend? No. That you have to understand.
ये 0.01% बोल के
तो चिंगारी तो डायरेक्ट एक्शन के दिन लग गई थी, मोपला के दिन लग गई थी. क्या किसी ने उनको डिफेंड किया? आप लोगों ने किया. आपने जिन्ना को डिफेंड किया गोडसे और सावरकर के नाम पे. यू नेवर said anything bad about Mopla riots. You never spoke about direct action. You never spoke about violence against women in under TMC in Bengal.
You are only
what kind of people
politics.
you are? What kind of intellectuals you are?
Shameful,
that you close
shameful.
your eyes to blatant violence, to open theaters,
Very unfortunate.
and you will say they have justification for the Sartan Juda. You will say there is no rationality, there is no sense of justice, there is no tolerance because one particular person gets something. For that you will try to cover up thousands of cases of terror across the world.
And that's the most unfortunate bit, the denial that the problem may exist. If you don't acknowledge the problem, CS Jha, how are you even going to tackle it? And this is about the nation's internal security.
Let me be very clear on this national television. The discrepancy crops up. If you know, during the COVID time, there were allegations against the Tablighi Jamaat that they were spreading COVID. And accordingly, FIRs were drawn and they were kept under house arrest, and each and everywhere they were treated very badly. Now, if you see, these FIRs were quashed by Delhi High Court, and subsequently no investigation or nothing has been done against them. And in fact, the Delhi High Court said that they were doing their holy prayers and they can do and they can carry on. For these FIRs, these allegations are very blunt. And these allegations are carried out by whom? By the central investigative agencies. At that moment, whether they submitted before Delhi High Court that Tablighi Jamaat is a terror funding unit. Why? Why this discrepancy before elections? When the Karnataka will go into elections, you are cropping up a issue from Maharashtra that Tablighi Jamaat is there. These are all elections propaganda and nothing else for BJP.
Sure.
BJP is trying to terrorize the people in the nation and nothing else on the basis of religion. Religion will never help them to retain their position in 2024. That is for very sure.
Sure. So this is nothing
If
but
you want
politics,
to
Nirmal Kaur say.
develop the country.
Right. So this
Yes,
is nothing
it
but
is
politics,
clear politics.
Nirmal
If
Kaur
you
is
see
what the
Tablighi
allegation
Jamaat at
is,
the time of
but
COVID,
that's the
and now
entire
you say that
problem,
they
isn't
are
it?
terror
Because we're
funding
talking
unit. How can
about
it be?
something as important as the entire nation's security. And yet we have all that we hear is political noise around it and one person tagging the other as using it as a political prop. how then
Yes.
do we
I
deal with the
think
problem?
at one
Aren't we
time-
completely
I think
dismissing
this
the
is
problem at
bizarre.
hand?
At one time,
I think this is bizarre.
Government says
This
that
is really
Tablighi
bizarre.
Jamaat is not a terror funding unit. Now they say it's a
You made your
terror
point.
funding
You made your
unit.
point, Mr.
Then
Jha. Let Nirmal
who-
Kaur come in.
Who is yes.
You know, this is totally bizarre. When the issues of national security crop up, one should not play politics out of it. The political parties just, they clamor for their own point of view or whatever will get them more votes in the
No,
election.
it is
in
clear
their
on
particular-
paper. It is clear on paper. We are not doing politics. Politics is done by BJP. Nobody else is doing
How
politics.
can you say?
Because they have to retain the power.
I'm not for BJP or you or anyone. What I'm saying is that the issues of national security come. People should join across lines, across political whatever divides are there or their political ideologies.
We are all together
Issues
for any
of national
terror
security should be jointly
against the
taken
terrorism.
up. Problems like terrorism should be jointly tackled, and nobody
Absolutely.
should play politics in that. But
Absolutely, and that really is the
in our
message. But
country-
unfortunately, that message is not being heard by several sections of our politicians in the country. Is nation's internal security at risk? And if so, then there is a need for everyone to come on board and speak as one. That really is the takeaway, perhaps, from this debate. And I thank you all for joining us here on this broadcast with your perspective. We are slipping into a quick break here on this edition of The Right Stand, but lots lined up for you on the other side, especially why China is spiraling out of control. Do stay tuned for that.